All right, so now we're going to talk about how to get a bid or how to get an estimate. So you've got the house under contract, depending on the type of job. Maybe you've had a home inspector out, maybe you've had a HUD consultant out, and now it's time to start finding that contractor. So in order to find a contractor, you've got to go do a little bit of searching. One thing to note, and this is a huge precaution, is any contractor you talk to and any contractor you'd like to have work on your job, we are going to highly, highly recommend that they have done a renovation loan project in the past. If they have not done one of these projects, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 203K. It could be a construction loan or a new house loan, one of the above. If they haven't done one before, then they're not going to know how the financing works, how the draws work, how change orders work, and you're going to run into a bunch of problems. So you want to make sure that you're working with a contractor who has at least some experience in the renovation loan project world. So how are you going to go about finding them? Well, not every contractor, in fact, most contractors prefer not to work on renovation loan projects. Most contractors like cash jobs. They get a nice big chunk of change up front to get the project started. They ask for draws from the client as they get things done, maybe have the client buy materials. They kind of have their own system and it works for them. Well, on the renovation loan side, there is no big down payment to get started. You have to have somebody else come in and inspect your work before you get paid on draws. And if you have any change orders, there's a very specific set of standards you have to go through to push that change order through and get paid for it. On top of that, you have to be validated by the lender or whoever you're working with. So you want to make sure that any contractor you talk to, you let them know ahead of time, I'm doing a renovation loan project. Have you done one before? And if the answer is no, we would highly recommend that you look another direction. So when you start searching for them, obviously a lot of people are going to turn to Google to just start looking for contractors and giving them phone calls. But what we would recommend are 3 steps before that. A, here at Makeover Renovations Preferred Contractors, we have a list of contractors who we have personally trained who have done 203K in homestyle renovation loan projects before. So give us a shout. You can click there on our link or go to our website and let us know what your project looks like. And then we'll get you set up with a contractor if we've got one in your area. If we don't, we may know of a good direction to go or at least lead you down the right path. If Makeover Renovations doesn't have a good contractor for you, we then suggest that you ask your HUD consultant. So if you have a HUD consultant on your job, that's what HUD consultants do. They work with contractors who have done renovation projects before. So reach out to your HUD consultant and ask if he or she knows anybody in the area that has done a 203K or homestyle loan, and they would recommend to do your job. The third spot that we'd recommend is your lender. Most lenders who do renovation loan projects have worked with a couple contractors in the past. Now, they don't like all of them, they don't love all of them, but they will have a list of some kind of their quote-unquote preferred contractors that they can send your way. Now, lenders aren't technically allowed to steer you in a direction, so more than likely they'll give you a whole handful of contractors and then you can call them all. But these 3 options are going to be your best way to find a contractor who's done one of these projects before and has some past experience. So once you've found a contractor to work with, the next thing that you're going to work on doing is scheduling that walkthrough. Now you're going to refer to that last page. When do you want your contractor to show up? Depending on the type of project you're doing, it could be after the lender, it could be after the home inspector, or it could be after the HUD consultant. You'll have to track your job through that list and figure out which one you are. So you want to set up a time as early as possible to meet with that contractor and walk the property. This is kind of your last chance to paint that picture. What is it that you want that house to look like? Tell them everything, all of the flooring, all the paint, all the walls, all the cabinets. Let him know everything you'd like to do. That's your job. He's going to throw his tape measure around. He's going to take photos, drawings, videos, all the above so that he can go back and put together a good bid for you. Now that being said, depending on the size of your project, your bid may come back in 3 to 4 days. But if it's a very large project, it may take 2 weeks. There's a chance that he's got to get electricians in there, HVAC guys in there, may have to have somebody from the city, depending on what coding and permitting looks like where you're located. So you've got to be patient, you've got to be cognizant of the size of your project, and if it's a big one, it may take a while. Now, that being said, once he gets you your first draft, it will not be perfect. The very first draft, the very first bid that comes back to a client is never 100% right. They're always missing a line item or they've got extra line items. You've slept since then. So from the time you walk the property with your contractor to the time they gave you your bid back, there's a really good chance that Pinterest or something else on the web has piqued your interest and maybe you've come up with a new idea. So your bid will not be right the first time, just know that. But what you want to make sure to do is to be very, very good at looking at that bid, going through it line by line, and getting all of your edits back to your contractor as fast as you can. On the contracting side, it takes time. We've got to talk to different subs. We've got other jobs going on at the time. So you want to make sure that that ball is always in their court and you're getting edits back to your contractor as soon as you possibly can. And one quick note to throw in there, you want to really pay attention to your bid and look at it very specifically. If there's a line item that's on that bid, it's getting done. If there's a line item that's not on that bid, it's not getting done. The reason that we put a bid together, the reason that we go through the steps, send it to the lender, have the appraiser look at it, is because that is our Bible. We are going to look at that bid and whatever it says to do, that's what we'll be doing. So down the road, if you ever think to yourself, man, I really thought that they were going to do X, refer to that bid. If it's not on that bid, it's not getting done. So pay attention, double check, triple check, quadruple check your bid, make sure you like everything that's on it, and then move forward.